Bhavya Shah and I am going to be your host for the afternoon. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to each and everyone present on the 5th Actuaries Day celebration organized by the Institute and Actuaries of India. Light is a symbol of brightness and prosperity. It signifies the presence of wisdom and absence of ignorance. To make this blessed event, I would like to call upon our President, Mr. Shubhendu Bal, our Chief Guest, Shri Raj Kumar, immediate past President, Mr. Shunil Sharma, and ED, Mohan Bhatia, to conduct the lightning ceremony. Sorry. Thank you, everyone. May Goddess Saraswati have her blessings on this event. The actuarial profession has evolved from its original roots, performing complex calculations on the back of a napkin, to being a tech savvy professional advising billion-dollar companies how to manage risks. Everything would not have been possible without this one man. Late Shri L.S. Vaidyanathan was the first actuary to qualify from the Institute of Actuaries UK in 1926. He began his actuarial career after receiving a grant from the then Bombay government and joined Oriental Life Assurance Company as an assistant actuary. In 1931, he was entrusted by the government to conduct a mortality investigation into the Indian census. Based on the census of 1931 and a decade of data from Oriental Insurance Company, he performed the calculations on the mortality of the Indian population for the first time. His contributions to the actuarial field are inestimable, and as a professor of actuarial science at Sydenham College in Mumbai, he led successful careers for various of his students. Today, I would like to thank him for the opportunity that he has given each and every actuary in this country. He is truly an inspirational figure, and all of us owe our careers to him. Every Actuaries Day, the Institute organizes, and senior actuarial community members along with the student members come together to discuss the events of the last year, the history of the profession, and what it looks like going into the future. On this solemn so I would like to wish everyone a happy Actuaries Day from my side. On this occasion, I would like to call upon our beloved President, Mr. Shubhendu Pal, for his presidential address. In addition to being the President of the Institute and a former Honorary Vice President to the Institute, he is also the Chief Actuary and Chief Risk Officer for SBI Life Insurance Company with over 28 years of experience. Mr. President, please come on the stage. Thank you.
Happy Actuaries Day to all. Good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed an honor and pleasure to welcome all of you to this Actuaries Day celebration. Let me extend warm welcome Sri Rajkumar ji, our chief guest, and the chief guest of the other cities, Madam Dakshita Das, Sri Saurabh Mishra, Dr. R. Vaidyanathan, Sri M. K. Murli, Sri Pramod Kumar Arora, and other dignitaries. I also want to welcome all the members of the Institute of Actuaries of India and all other colleagues from my council who are present in different places. And ladies and gentlemen, each one of us must be happy to meet this actuarial fraternity in person after a gap of more than 2 years. Today we are celebrating this Actuaries Day across 6 cities: Mumbai, Gurgaon, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad and Bangalore. India is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav this year, and this is the year of reliving the rising India and rejoining the arrival of the India's position to the global market. In the midst of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I also celebrating Actuaries Day with the similar spirit of pride, positivity and confidence in the future. The actuarial community celebrates this day in the remembrance of Sri L.S. Vaidyanathan and other actuaries who really contributed immensely to the growth of the actuarial profession in India. With their missionary zeal and their creating a base for the growth of the actuarial profession in India. Actuaries Day is also a day, as Bhavya says, to take stock of work being done by the institute to service of the actuarial profession and to achieve the vision and the way forward for the profession. It is also a day to assess the contribution of the profession in the growth and the development of India. 3 years back, as you know, we have celebrated 70 years of our actuarial profession in India, and as a part of that celebration, and we have promised to reinvent the actuarial profession in India to different stages. To fulfill that promise and to redeem the taste of the future, on this last year II Actuaries Day, we have already established II Vision 2.0. And on this auspicious day, allow me to place before all of you the little bit of progress made in this regard. To serve the actuarial community better, we have enhanced our engagement with the stakeholders like ministries, government authorities, IRDAI and other regulatory authorities, including ICAI and other professional bodies. And also, we have a very good relationship now with the global actuarial bodies, International Actuarial Association and other associations. No doubt our presence on the socials and other media is also, we are going on the different level. During this year, II already selected a media partner to help us to digitize our communication and engage and manage our social media. I am happy to report that as we speak, II has been invited to join the expert committee which is constituted by IRDAI to draw the roadmap for the implementation of INT IS 117. As some of you may remember, the last Actuaries Day, when we have discussed the digitization initiatives as a part of IEI 2.0 vision. During the year, we successfully launched multimedia-based digital Actuary India magazine in the month of April. And our magazine has received kudos, appreciation and extremely positive feedback from various stakeholders. I am quite sure all of you must be liking it. I am happy to report that during the year, II has partnered with Microsoft and obtained the education licenses. The education licenses, when you do, you must be knowing that this generally comes for the educational institute either free of cost or very discounted price. So we have been taking this help from the Microsoft Office, Microsoft Team, SharePoint and Azure Cloud Services. The Microsoft educational products will help establishing our cloud campus and substantially enhance the digitization of the educational and training services and subsequent user experience. We may remember III started a technology modernization program to upgrade its website and member services. I shall provide you the progress in this regard at the end of my speech. I am very happy to report a system for management of the examination process is under selection. Once this is implemented, this will substantially digitize the examination process and will provide more certainty to the declaration of the results and the ability to announce the result much before and in hand. Last year on Actuaries Day, III announced the establishment of the Olympiad in Actuarial Science for Indian students, which is very nicely known as OASIS, to spread awareness about the actuarial science among the Generation Z, and which can help, we believe, to increase the awareness not only those Gen Z students, but about the actuarial profession among the parents, teachers, and public at large. The OASIS was formally launched in 27 May 2022 at Varanasi by conducting the first seminar with the principals and teachers of the school in the Varanasi district. An institute has conducted many more seminars in various schools and colleges. The first OASIS examination will be held in November 2022. As a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, this celebration as initiated by the government of India, III also has initiated dialogue with the CBSE for collaboration to increase the awareness among the all CBSE schools, also to appoint 750 actuarial science ambassadors, so that all CBSE schools can know about the actuarial science and can take this Olympiad to the different level. And we believe post this collaboration, we can inspire students to participate in Olympiad and awards by reaching out around 7.5 lakhs of secondary and higher secondary students. As we speak today, I am very happy to inform that the institute has reached the mark of 750 members. In the today's world, yesterday's skill set and mindset may not be adequate. We have come a long way from the spreadsheet dominated world to these powerful data analytic tools and actuarial skill requirements. The demand and opportunities for the actuarial talent are changing. The actuarial talent in the demand beyond the traditional areas, from the insurtech to fintechs, from the technology companies to the BFSI industries and all other industries. To channel and grow the demand for the actuarial talent, II is refocusing and repositioning itself to a talent and innovation partner for the industry and the employers. To help engage actuarial talent better, we have launched the IEI Corporate Outreach Program. Since we launched the program, we have met over 15 employers to understand their needs and identify the skill gaps. Accordingly, we have appointed our placement cell or placement officer in our institute and also providing the job-oriented training and for the skill enhancement of our members and students. In addition, many of us must be knowing, we have started coaching, guidance and support programs and conducting for the students, which really can help many of the candidates to perform better in their examinations. We try to continue to going on the similar lines. Inspired by the Atmanirbhar Bharat, II has initiated development of India-specific actuarial study material. The work on this preparation of the study material is going on with full force. As of today, we are planning to release IEI study material by say mid of 2024. I am happy to report that the Apex Accreditation Steering Group for accreditation of universities and institutes has been constituted and shall release the requirement in the standard format shortly. The accreditation program will enable the universities and institute to teach a course that is equivalent to the syllabus to that of our institute. Also, among many things, it will be also benefit for the students who is undertaking those programs with an agreement, not only get the exemption of the few papers from the institute, but also by developing a broader skill set that will be relevant to a competitive job market. As you are aware, the Actuaries Act is passed in the year 2006. With the experience gained from the last 15 years and to address the challenges likely to be faced by the actuarial profession in the next decade, the Actuaries Act Review Task Force was constituted with the members from the profession and the experts from the fields of accountancy and law. The task force took into account of the international best practices and also the best practices available in the other professions within India. I am happy to inform that the report of the task force is almost in the final stage, and that shall be submitted very shortly. You know, I have a great pleasure and immense satisfaction to share with all of you that so-called Virtual Actuarial Conclave 2022 or VSC 2022 broke many records. For the first time, we have received the congratulatory messages from Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji and Honorable Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. Also, in the history of the Actuarial Science Conference organized by the Institute, this year conference had more than 3,000 attendees registered and with 71 global and Indian speakers. BSc 2022 was partnered by 34 companies along with the 2 technology companies. I was overwhelmed the acknowledgement and the appreciation received from the global actuarial fraternity. As some of you might be really noticed that the better experience while interacting with the IAI staff. On behalf of the actuarial community, I would like to put on record my appreciation for the IAI staff for the great work that is going on the background and with a special focus on the digitization of the member services, the transformation of IAI processes and the repositioning of the IAI for the benefit of the actuarial community in India. During the year, IAI administration repurposed for the enhancing the services and the experience. To bring this process to a logical conclusion, as we speak, we are redrafting the HR policies, KRA, salary restructuring, and the other requirement for the IAI employees with the sole purpose to attract the talent and skills needed to realize the visions IAI 2.0. Now I come back to this point, and I am really very happy to give the progress that our website. I am very happy to tell that I want to inaugurate our new website today on this auspicious occasion. And I am quite sure I want to dedicate it to the service for the profession to all of you. Can I just try to launch this? So, if you see, this will be roughly look and feel of our new website. We are working hard for some more times. We are doing. I will just show little bit of how it looks like, how it go. If I go to say about section, and suppose if you go to the council, this will be like this. And if you just go to the things, that all the black and white picture will be coming to the different color. If you move, suppose the names and cursor, all these things will be doing that. If we want to go the media, about section, media link, yeah. So then you say whatever we have been published, all those details may be readily available for all of you. Another one point let me show. Let us go to the become an actuary section, and if I click on the educational curriculum link, so you will be having all the details and everything will be available properly for everybody. And let me just show another one point to have an idea, that actuarial studies section and if you want to go the Olympiad link, then all the details about the Olympiad you will find out. So let me go back to the home page. So that will be the look and feel, and I am quite sure the new website will address the long pending demands of the members and students for enhanced user experience, mobile enablement and intelligent search capabilities. The website is completely rewritten on the latest technology and hosted on the Microsoft Azure platform. I would like to request all the members to bear with us, as the new website may take some time to stabilize. And thank you all for joining us this celebration. I am looking forward for continuing the great work being done at the IAI and for the years to come. Happy Actuaries Day.
Thank you for your truly inspiring and a passionate speech, sir. Congratulations to the IIA staff and all the members of the institute on relaunch of the new Actuaries India magazine. Under your leadership, sir, the institute is growing both in numbers and quality and redefining what it means to be an Indian actuary in the 21st century. As the president mentioned in his address, this year the institute has launched various initiatives such as the Digital Actuary India magazine, the Olympiad of Actuarial Science for the Indian students, and the new Actuary India magazine. I would like you all to enjoy the audio visuals unveiling these initiatives.
Hello my Gen Z friends, I am Shubhendu Bal, President of Institute of Actuaries of India. Let me begin by asking you a simple question. How many of you have heard about actuaries or say actuarial science? Do you know that Institute of Actuaries, what is it? My guess may be handful. So what is actuarial science? Who are actuaries? What do they do? In simple words, actuarial science is a discipline which deals with mathematics, statistics, analytics, logical reasoning to solve unseen risks of future events. Do you love numbers? Are you passionate to create real-life applications? Do you have the thirst of the knowledge? Yes, and if you are curious to know more about actuarial science, then Oasis is the stepping stone for you all. I am happy to announce you the first of its kinds of actuarial science Olympiad Oasis, that is Olympiad of Actuarial Science for Indian students. OACs is designed to test the theoretical concept and practical applications of commercial mathematics, calculus, statistics, modeling, and data science to develop critical thinking and capability and higher order analytical skills. It will be provided into two phases. OACs is the gateway to plethora of opportunities for learning and growing in the fields like insurance, banking, finance, energy, environment and social science, risk management, and corporate risk governance, to name a few. I would like to open this doorway for Generation Z and welcome you all to participate in our Olympiad and explore the possibilities of the world of actuarial science.
VAC, we really need something, really immersive, like a metaverse. I mean, it needs to resonate with the decoding disruption theme that we've got.
VAC 2022 should create history.
We want pure innovation and imagination to do everything possible in a virtual event.
Only one class event can leave lasting impression.
Okay, be ready for the ride.
3, 2, 1, and you are live now.
Thank you for logging in. Hope you found the login process smoother than checking in at the airport.
The IA team, the organizing committee, and our event partner, Eventos, have put together a great program for you. Happy to announce the first of its kind Actuarial Science Olympiad OACs.
How about generating buzz via UGC? We can actually ask speakers, sponsors, and task force to send us their video invites for marketing purposes.
What an engaging event it was. For the first time in the history of the Institute, we had a very encouraging communication from Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. That was such a great start to the country.
I, Shubhendu Bal, thank Srimati Sitharaman ji for sending her wishes. Well done, excellent job.
We were 64 people on this event working day and night, and there was still room for more.
Just a fantastic experience, 34 sponsors, over 3,000 registrations. Just amazingly, we nailed it.
Guys, let's clap for ourselves and team both sides. Let's clap for ourselves. Yeah. So big deal what we have achieved today. Yeah.
Again, as a sub-editor of the Actuary India magazine, I would like to appeal each and every member of the actuarial community to contribute to the magazine in all shape and form. I would again like to wish a happy Actuaries Day to all the members who have tuned in live from all the cities. The celebrations in each city will continue, and I would like the city representative to take the event forward. For Mumbai, I would like to now call President Mr. Shubhendu Bal to welcome our chief guest, MD of LIC, Shri Rajkumar. Our chief guest today actually needs no introduction. His work is known by the entire population of this nation. But let me say a few words about him. Shri Rajkumar was born in the year 1962 in a small town named Nabha of Punjab. He graduated in sciences from DAV College Jalandhar in 1981 and joined the Life Insurance Corporation as 13th batch direct recruit in 1984. Since then, he has provided 38 years of dedicated service to LIC in India. Presently, he is the Managing Director of LIC India. He is currently also holding the positions as the Chairman of the Board for LIC HFL Asset Management Limited, Directors on the Board of LIC Housing Finance Limited and LIC Lanka Limited, Non-Executive Director on the boards of Grasim and IDBI Bank Limited, Trustee of LIC Golden Jubilee Foundation and the LIC of India Provident Fund No. 1. He is also the member of the governing board of the National Insurance Academy, Pune. In 2015-2016, he was conferred with the Most Influential Human Resource Officer in Asia Award by the CHRO and Hindi Tar Bhashi Samman by the Madhya Pradesh Rashtra Bhasha Prachar Samiti in 2016 and 17. He has also attended various training programs held at IIM Ahmedabad, ISB Hyderabad, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore, National Insurance Academy, Pune, and various other prestigious institutions throughout this nation. He is an avid reader and his areas of interest are spirituality, music, and sciences. With a huge round of applause, please welcome on stage our chief guest for today, Shri Rajkumar, for his keynote address.
Good evening. President Institute of Actuaries of India, all qualified actuaries, other officials, dear students, ladies and gentlemen present here today. It's my honor to be here today to be a participant and a speaker in this August Institute's gathering. I convey my heartfelt greetings on this 5th Actuaries Day to the entire actuarial fraternity. In fact, actuaries form the backbone of the insurance industry, rather I would say the VFSI sector, and I believe that there are areas, emerging areas in other industries as well, where the presence of actuaries will make a big difference in the risk management. I'm delighted to be part of the celebrations today. It is an honor for me to talk to this August gathering of actuaries on this special day, which is celebrated in the memory of first Indian actuary, late Shri L.S. Vaidyanathan, on his birthday, as a mark of gratitude for his enormous contribution as the first Indian actuary to facilitate setting up of actuarial profession in India. The role of actuaries in building the insurance companies in particular and financial sector in general is well known and recognized. I can tell with greater confidence on this after my personally involved journey with actuaries within and outside LIC of India, especially during the last 2 years. My interactions with actuaries of great caliber in the last 2 years gave me immense satisfaction in understanding their concerns, contribution, collaboration, and commitment towards their profession. I was able to see so many different perspectives of life insurance business which otherwise might have skipped my closer attention. Surely, but for this involved and intense experience and journey of togetherness with our actuaries in the last 2 years, to be more specific, I would not have been as happy and accomplished insurance professional as I feel today, after nearly 4 decades of working in this sector. Insurance industry is grateful to all the actuaries for the immense value, perspective, and professionalism that they bring into planning and running of the life insurance business particularly and BFSI sector in general. In conventional understanding, actuaries on one side and operational and marketing people on the other side are perceived to be something like opposite poles. While the marketers are considered to be the ones who look for the opportunities even in the risks, actuaries are perhaps groomed and trained to identify plausible risks even in the opportunities. In that context, the different approaches, whether from marketing people, actuary, or any other stakeholders, actually facilitate insights for orderly and comprehensive growth of the business and enable institutions to grow in a healthy manner. The challenge and the need is to ensure that these apparently divergent approaches are not seen as snowballing into some conflict, but are converted into combined strength for the institutions and are used as complementing each other. Proper communication, understanding, and mutual respect between all the stakeholders in the overall ecosystem is essential for the optimization of the competencies and capacities of our scarce resources. We are in the business of risks in which actuarial profession has to play a main role in the identification, qualification, management, mitigation, and monitoring of existing identified and also emerging risks. They have to be the alarming system as well as the solution providers. One has to understand that behind complex web of difficult mathematical models lies the simple intent to balance and optimize interests of all the stakeholders with special care for the policyholders and society at large. We all are aware of the fact that a fast-growing economy like India offers a future which is burgeoning with hope and possibilities for the insurance companies in particular and the overall financial sector in general. On the other side, we also need to appreciate that there will also be an equal share of challenges to be surmounted, including fast-changing and evolving expectations of customers and other players. India has huge advantage in the form of demographic dividends, which is in our favor, such as young population with average age of around 29 years, as against average of 40 years in US, 46 in Europe, and 47 years in Japan, respectively. By 2020, we expected to have well above 100 million workforce in the age group of 20 to 24 years, which is expected to be even above the workforce in China in that age group. This gives significant fillip to our dreams of exponential and sustainable growth of our insurance industry, financial markets, and the country. However, we are also aware of the fact that our elderly population growth rate being somewhere around 3.8% is much higher than general population growth rate of around 1.8% per annum. Therefore, with the improvement of longevity and health facilities, we will also have a sizable population of people in the age group of 60 and above to be looked after. We also are aware of the fact that while we are one of the fastest growing economies with geographical area of only near 3% of the globe, we have nearly 17% of the population and 20% of the disease burden of the world with uneven distribution of wealth. We also have the challenge of meeting the divergent needs and aspirations of masses as well as classes. Hence, as insurers and large players in the growing financial sector of the Indian economy, we have very important responsibility to spread awareness and benefits of insurance to every nook and corner of the society. The area of concern for Indian insurers is not only about insurance penetration and density, which are low, but how to ensure greater insurance coverage for all by promoting and designing customer-centric products, rather solutions which are innovative and need-based for a variety of purposes, including savings, pension, health risk cover, pure protection, and including all lines of business of life and non-life insurance. As insurers, for realization of all these goals, we need to appreciate that time has come when various constituents of the business, actuaries, marketers, administrators, regulators, small companies, big companies will have to work in tandem and total sync with each other to create and instill greater confidence and trust in the hearts and minds of people, thereby be able to tap the highly untapped potential that lies bare before us. We have collective responsibility to bridge the huge protection gap of more than 80%, and that too at a very fast pace. The best thing that I find in the field of insurance is that not only it is challenging and fulfilling area, but it also offers an opportunity to serve the society and the nation in a big way. Friends, while I have respect for all the players in the financial sectors, I take special pride in admitting that the hard-earned money of insurers is actually from the people and for the people. This perhaps makes our insurance industry unique, and our ability to sustain through the various life stages of individuals, through the various life stages of the individuals and society, and it will further strengthen the trust of the society and the nations on us. We need to realize that the preferences of customers are changing very fast, and therefore we may also need to review and think continuously, not only in conventional manner, but even out of box by relooking and reviewing not only our products, but processes as well. While I admit that there are many products and services that we have offered and which have stood the tests of the times and even now continue to remain favorites of the society and hence need not to be dumped just out of fashion, we would also need to remain alert to evolving and emerging expectations of much informed and much aware customer going forward. We need to appreciate that while the individual needs are very flexible and fast changing by nature and construct, the organizational structures are not that flexible. Our responses and setups will have to keep pace with the dynamic needs and expectations of the buyers and users of our products and services. We would need to be ready to embrace the technology, learning from all the places, and work with efficiency in all the areas of our performance. The organizations from now onwards for sure would need to become nimble-footed and highly sensitive and proactive to the emerging environment. Two words in LIC logo, Yoga Kshemam Vahameham, to my mind, amply state the responsibilities of insurers and actuaries towards policyholders, which is all about helping them in attainment of what they don't have and preserving them what they have, preserving for them what they have. LIC of India has worked on well-laid procedures and has always remained focused in delivering the best to its policyholders. I would not be exaggerating in mentioning that the edifice of this trusted institution has been built upon the cornerstone of the efforts and vision of the great actuaries that LIC has provided to the insurance industry and who occupied even the topmost positions in the corporation and many other places of distinction. We are fortunate that some of the senior actuaries are also present here today to bless and celebrate with us, and this also shows their affection and dedication to the profession. Their vision, dedication, and intellect has helped us in building an institution and industry which has contributed immensely in the overall growth story of our nation. While journey of the insurance industry in India has seen many crests and troughs in the past, I am sanguine that the future journey of insurance industry is full of hope and challenges. The role of actuaries is going to become more and more challenging, yet exciting. Their all-round contribution would be required not only in the various technical areas of insurance business, such as valuation, pricing, investment and risk management, but across all the areas and beyond typical conventional fields of insurance. Therefore, all the measures need to be taken with full commitment to promote actuarial education and actuarial resources. At LIC of India, we treat our actuaries as our most precious resources and have taken different measures to encourage them. Contribution of actuaries and their value has never been in doubt, and actuaries have always commanded respect and at times are even seen in some kind of awe by non-actuaries in the industry. But with changing times, it is eminent that they also acquire entire range of skill sets, not only in typical actuarial areas, but also about the actual operation and associated challenges in operations, so that there is a proper connect between actuaries and other participants of the insurance business. For a large country like India, with 1.4 billion population, we would need thousands of actuaries in various fields, not limited to insurance and pension or BFSI sector, but all other sectors as well, to benefit from the larger actuarial shaped vision and perspective. I must say that our once thought to be impossible journey or endeavor of realizing LIC IPO in less than 2 years could not have been possible without the enormous contribution of our actuaries in LIC of India. Marx had once said that the practice without theory is blind, and theory without practice is sterile. Hence, actuaries of future would need to strike a right balance of knowledge and practice. We all are aware about the shortage of actuaries in our country, but I would like to appreciate the concern and support of the regulator as well as the Institute of Actuaries of India in taking measures and steps to encourage growth of actuaries in India. In the last few years, the Institute should take further steps for spread of awareness about actuarial science in the schools, colleges, and at university level. I firmly believe that with increased awareness about this science and available professional opportunities, more and more individuals would start pursuing actuarial science in the coming days. I would also like to acknowledge the role of IRDAI in taking major steps for the orderly growth of the industry in India, considering the customer in focus and recently coming up with many new and fresh initiatives to ensure that India's journey towards $5 trillion economy gets momentum from the insurance industry. Of course, many of these measures bring certain challenges also, yet we must appreciate that openness and readiness of the authority to suggestions and need for change whenever warranted is required. I only wish if I was also an actuary, maybe I would have also been eligible to participate in such fruitful deliberations with a certificate of practice to boast about. Surely this is not the right time to start the tough actuarial exams. I'm running 61st year. But my heart goes out to wish you a very successful Actuaries Day with firm belief that the insurance industry will reach commanding heights with special contribution coming from the actuarial fraternity. I once again thank the Institute of Actuaries of India for inviting me to join the actuarial fraternity on this memorable 5th year of celebrations. I would have only hoped that being a participation in this celebration could have at least entitled me to be called a part actuary, even if not a fellow member. Wishing you all the grand success and good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your wise words. Your speech outlining the role of a future actuary in the domain was quite informative, and it gives all the future actuaries in the room and online a chance to draw a roadmap for themselves, how they would balance and optimize their actuarial capabilities with communications with other stakeholders. Now I would like to ask our president to honor the chief guest Shri Raj Kumar with a memento on behalf of the institute. And actually, within the corporate world dons many hats. Sometimes we are the head of accountancy finalizing IBNR reserves. Sometimes we are asked to perform pricing calculations for the client on the spot. To me, an actuary was always defined as some sort of a certified statistical fortune teller in the insurance and other domains. But what would be the growth of our profession in the future, and how would it look like in the next 25 years? We saw the nation celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and deliberating what the nation should look like in 25 years. Today, let us bring a few senior actuaries from our community to discuss the role of our community in that growth for the next 25 years. I would like to invite our panelists for a panel discussion on Indian actuarial profession, resolve and actions for the next 25 years. Shubha Nilkanthan is an energetic, fully qualified actuary with over 23 years of corporate experience in the areas of actuarial pricing, product development, reinsurance structuring, valuation, and shareholder reporting. She has been in a leadership role for over 10 years. She was part of the founding team setting up the reinsurance branch of Score Ray in India. In October 2022, she started her own consulting firm, iActuary, and has been contributing with the institute as an examiner for several years now. With a round of applause, please welcome our first panelist. Mr. Suresh Shindi is a fully qualified actuary with more than 20 years of experience in the actuarial domain. Currently, he is the council member of Institute of Actuaries of India and provides consultancy in the areas of experience analysis, IFRS 17, Solvency II, etc. In the past, he has served as an appointed actuary with Reliable Nepal Life Insurance Company. Please welcome him. Mr. Karthike Kondo is a fellow chartered accountant and a fellow actuary with demonstrated experience in the pensions domain. He is one of the youngest to qualify as a fellow actuary, having qualified at the age of 24. He is the founder and proprietor of Kandoi & Co., his own consulting firm. He was recently elected to the council of the II, so I'll congratulate him and let's welcome him. Our fourth panelist has recently joined the II during the last year as an executive director, Mr. Mohan Bhatia. Before this, he has worked for various decades with consulting and technology firms in risk, finance, compliance, actuarial, and IFRS domain. He is an expert in digitization, data science, AI, and machine learning. He He has provided consultancy to global BFSI firms. He has worked closely with fintechs and insurtech firms. He is the author of the four books in auditing credit risk and economic capital. His most recent book, Banking 4.0, The Industrialized Banking of Tomorrow, was recently published. He's on the editorial board of the Journal of Risk Model Validation. In his spare time, he also provides guidance and career counseling to budding professionals at no cost. Let us welcome him to the stage. So, to begin, please pass on. So, to begin the discussion, the Indian actuarial profession has actually evolved considerably over the last 20 years after the opening up of the insurance sector in the country. I would like to ask all of you, how do you view the growth of this profession in the last 2 decades? What were the challenges that we faced and what were the achievements that we can boast about?
Am I audible? Right. So firstly, thank you so much to the Institute for giving me this opportunity to be on the panel. So it's strange to be called senior actuary now, but I'd like to share the journey. So I joined the profession in '99 when the industry was not even liberalized, and very few people around me had ever heard of a word called actuary. I think from there on to today, when actuaries are recognized, actuarial science is heard of, and the wonderful growth that the Institute has seen in terms of the membership, in terms of the fellows, growth has been stupendous. Coming from a day and age where I was a master's in statistics and I had still never met an actuary. In fact, one of the few actuaries sitting here, she was the first actuary I'd ever met in India. To coming to a room full of aspiring actuaries and qualified actuaries, the growth has been really tremendous. But I would still like to reflect in terms of the work areas. I think we have come quite far, but there is a growth that we also need to see in the future. From very limited areas that we used to work in earlier, namely just pensions was the first one, life insurance, and very few general insurance actuaries when I started way back in '99, to now new emerging areas like insurtech, new emerging areas like data science. I think that growth has been really phenomenal.
Yeah, so actually my story is similar like hers. I also started my career way back in 1999. And whenever I used to tell, my relatives or my friends that I'm doing actuarial course, so they used to ask what this actuarial is. So that was the story, and you can imagine those days, I think we were hardly 300 or 500 members. Today we are, I think, around 9,000 plus. And those days were very difficult because, I came from a very remote place. I used to travel, more than 400 miles to write actuarial exams. Nowadays, we have centers across most of the cities in India. But those days, only few centers used to be there. So I used to come to Mumbai, write the exams. I remember those days, those exams, used to be conducted in the LIC office, in the central office in LIC. So it was very, very difficult. No website, no one is there to guide you. Self-study, you don't know whom to talk to. So whenever I used to write those exams, I used to just meet some of our senior members in actuarial department. I used to get and gather more information, which book I should be referring. No tuition material also. So those were very, very, difficult days as far as the information related to actuary was concerned. But I personally feel that nowadays, I think we have traveled a lot. For you students, you are getting all this information on tip of your finger. Website is available today. You have seen that it's nicely the revamp this website. So I personally feel that our days were very, difficult because technology was not there. Awareness was not there. I think we have traveled a long journey, and I feel that this is a time for all of you to take this to a next level, because economy is, I think India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and a lot of opportunities are opening. So I feel that this is the right time for you to quickly pass those papers, qualify, take experience, and help the society and the country by providing your actual services. That is what I want to say.
So if I have to talk about the growth of the actuarial profession, in the first decade of 21st century, the growth in the fellow members was around less than 20%, but in the second decade, I would say the growth in actuarial fellow members is more than 100%. Like actuaries, fellow actuaries have increased from 225 to more than 500 now. So this is one growth in the actuarial fellow members, but at the same time, if we see the growth in the student members, then growth in the first decade was quite good, but in the second decade, the growth in student members is not positive. It may be 0 or maybe, let's say, -10 to +10%. So we need to see what are the challenges why student members are decreasing, because if we see the membership count, as such the membership base has increased 3 times, but the net count has decreased. So we need to see the reasons for reduction in the net count of the student members, and need to see they continue with the profession and see how this can be improved in the future. Yeah.
If you look at actuaries in the first decade for this century, many of the newly set up insurance companies, they actually had actuaries who had come from Europe, France, Canada, and different countries, South Africa, various countries we actually had actuaries. So that was the shortage of actuarial talent in India. This equation has just reversed. Almost every insurance company has established actuarial department in India. So in line with, as Rajkumar ji was talking, that to make India $5 trillion economy, India has become the back office, the actuarial talent center for the entire globe. You go and look at all international firms, entire Gurgaon, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and look at the actuarial centers they have opened up. I have visited myself. I come from that background where I was working for a technology company, and we actually had talent to the extent of 200 to 400 or 200 to 600 actuarial students. They were actually working with us. Actuarial members who were actually working with us, including students and associate and fellows. So this is the change which actually has happened in the past 2 decades. This is where it is actually going very positive and having that, what we can call it actually as a trust with the future, where that entire profession is going.
Thank you everyone for your responses. I would like to assure Shubha ma'am and Suresh sir, despite the best efforts of the institute and the student members, I have still seen people's jaw drop when I describe what an actuary does. Taking a futuristic viewpoint, what do you think would we be discussing on Actuaries Day in 2047? What would the profession have evolved to?
Look at the competitive advantage or the most differentiating factor actuary is bringing to the table. What is that we bring to the table? As I think Rajkumar ji was saying that, or he was saying that statistics, we actually can tell about future. We are there to do the valuation in uncertainty about the future. At present, we are doing that valuation only on the liability side and maybe on insurance as well as on the employees' benefit. So on insurance side, if you look at, we are covering some 60, 70, 80% of the balance sheet of an insurance company on the liability side. And maybe for all other industry, we are covering 0.5%, 0.25% as a part of the employees' benefit. World is becoming more and more fragile, more and more uncertain. The life has become more uncertain if you look at all the case studies, whatever are there, where we require that skills to look into the future, to do the valuation of the future. Now, we are covering only one industry with 60-70% on the liability side, still 30% on the liability side and 100% on the asset side is still open for us. And then all other industry. So looking at what we will be talking in 2047, we will be talking in 2047, the actuarial profession will be talking about 2047 of all the asset classes, of all the liabilities which will get valued for future looking, forward looking, and which will actually do that within that uncertainty, how do we do that? So that can be one of the vision which actually actuarial profession actually can take it and can take it forward. With all the tools which we actually are, all the skills and tools which we are getting as a part of the profession, it can really become very handy. Another thing which is happening at the international level is IFRS. What is IFRS? IFRS is forward-looking valuations. This is actually built for us. It's not only IFRS 17 which is built for us. You look at IFRS 9, you look at 13, you look at 15. Everywhere they require expertise. The industry requires expertise. And who else will give expertise for doing the valuation, the future valuation, the valuation under uncertainty, probability, and forward looking? We are the profession which is actually there for helping them. So 2047, that we actually will be involved in valuation on asset side, liability side, future looking, forward looking. This is one way to look at the next 25 years for the profession.
Yeah, I completely agree with sir, and I'd just like to add, 2-3 more areas that come to my mind at least when we look at a futuristic area. One is definitely that everybody is already talking about is AI and ML. Predictive modeling. We are the people who work with data and data in a really large sense and predicting the future. I think we as a profession are best placed to sort of harness those predictive modeling skills, and lot of industries are looking for this. So we don't really necessarily need to be insurance specific anymore. To give you an example, Uber uses a lot of actuaries to do a lot of predictive modeling. So that is definitely an area that's going to open up in a big way. And India, given that it is really leading in this space already with its tech innovations, I see in 2047, some of us in those areas, working in those areas. And the second one is also climate change. We have seen for example, if we take Europe as an example, we have seen the climate change really impacting them. You look at UK recently, the weather, has really shown the world that there has to be something done. And predicting these things is something that an actuary can actually start getting engaged, and it's already happening in UK, where actuaries are getting involved in a lot of predicting models. So this is definitely an area I would see in 2047 that actuaries would be involved in. And on a lighter note, I think at least 3 times or 4 times the size of the room that we are in now, hopefully in 2047 we will be like that.
Thank you. So to add in this, in the 2047, if we go with the vision of our Prime Minister Shri Modi ji, by that time we will be the developed nation. So we need to see our vision matches with the vision of our Prime Minister, and by that time our role should match with the requirements of the developed nation. And from the actuarial side, if I see, currently we are mainly working on the bottom line of the balance sheet. Like companies may try to reduce the bottom line, but we actuaries by the next 25 years should be in the position to work on the company's top line. How to increase the top line, how to increase the revenue, maybe how the predictive modeling or the other things can help the companies to increase the top line. So now we need to see how we can help the companies.
Yeah, so I agree with her view about climate change, because that's really impacting the mortality, and for us it's again challenging for actuaries also to understand and to predict how the mortality is going to change because of change in this climate. So this is one area. Second area which I just want to highlight here is technology. So maybe in another 25 years, I think we'll be equipped with more and more technology. Gone are those days where we used to struggle to get a data. Now plenty of data is available with us. Now we are sitting on, I can say, a golden mine. It's a data mine. We have to analyze, we have to understand what data, how we have collected the data, and how we can interpret the results from those data, whatever data is available with us. So I personally feel that we actually can play a pivotal role in understanding not only data, doing those calculations, but beyond that is interpreting and communications. I'm not very sure how good we are at this moment in communicating our results, our findings, our facts to non-actuarial stakeholders. So that is very, very important for us to know. And of course, what he has correctly mentioned, it's our dream that we all, the entire country should have protection or insurance cover. Everyone should be covered with insurance, some form or the other, maybe social insurance or something like that. And I feel that we will be working very closely with the government, hopefully, and we have already started talking with the government, and we will contribute in designing various kind of social schemes. And today the insurance penetration is still very low, but one day, we will be seeing that our insurance penetration will be the highest, in the world. So that is what I wish for.
Thank you. I think with introduction of new products using Internet of Things based devices, actuaries would need to work with data that comes in both in big in sizes and fast in its speed. Job opportunities and career is a hot topic among actuarial freshers. And one thing that I would like to ask all of you is, what skills do you think are lacking when an actuarial fresher comes to the table asking for a job, and what can students improve upon as far as getting a job in the actuarial domain is concerned?
Okay, maybe I will just take this. See, what employer is expecting. So one is obviously your exams, but exams will only qualify for you to come to the interview door. So, one is exam, but beyond exam is how you are able to analyze, how you are able to interpret. So many times, not with all, but few students, they are very good in passing these exams, but they are unable to express, or they are unable to give answers to even a simple question. So end of the day, it boils down to a common sense. So it's very important that we should be having these technical skills, but at the same time, we should be able to express our views in such a way that other person should be able to understand that. Okay. So if someone is, I'm just giving an example, if someone is saying that, and this is just a hypothetical example, that 1 lakh rupees in how many years will become 2 lakhs if the rate of interest is 9%, then typical answer would be, I will be requiring a scientific calculator, I will just find out for that. So that is not exactly, expected when you go for an interview. So this is just one example. Interviewer is not expecting the exact answer. He just wants to know that whether you are understanding these basic concept of componentes, which we study in one of the subjects. So there are, plenty of examples how you are putting forward your views, thoughts. That's number one. Number two is communications. It's very important, the soft skills communications, how we are talking, how we are behaving, how we are expressing our views. That's very, very important. So end of the day, how we are able to persuade the management, persuade the stakeholders is very, very important. Then only people will start believing in us. We do a lot of number crunchings, and many times when I used to meet with non-actuarial, very senior folks, they used to say that you guys do, do a lot of work, but we don't understand what you do. But we know that you do a great work. Now, this is the kind of feedback I used to get it, many years back. Now we have to change that perspective. What we do, we should be able to express. We should be able to make them understand what we are doing and why we are doing. So this is what I want. That soft skills are very, very important. So how we are able to communicate is very, very important. And apart from our technical skills. And end of the day, what business is demanding. So I cannot be sitting in, ivory tower and doing some modeling, Excel modeling. I should know the ground reality, what my client wants. So end of the day, until and unless we know the ground reality, we cannot build the best model. We cannot design and develop the best products. What management, what company is expecting from us. Basic modeling skills are, our skills, but it's beyond that, one step beyond that. How we can give more insights into that. So that is what I just want to tell you, that don't just sit in one corner of the office and don't just think that this is only my job. Try to understand what operations are doing, what claims departments are doing, how the new business is written, IT, finance, legal, investment. So we should know that. Though we don't have to be expert in all these areas, but we should understand, then only we'll be able to develop and design the best products for the company. That is what I want to say.
I'll just add to what Suresh said. So I've been interviewing quite a bit in the last few months, and I think one of the soft skills that I want to stress, which I place at the highest, is integrity. When I see a resume and I see something is written as an experience, when I've seen something you have mentioned as a project that you have done, or a part of experience that you have done, I expect that you are completely honest about it, and it's not mentioned in, so that's for me is very, very critical, not just as a person, for this profession. As actuaries, that's what we should place at the top of our list. Just be honest with the work you have done. It's fine to say that you haven't gone into the depth of the project, and you can explain the part you have done. It's not necessary, probably not expected also as young actuaries that you have done everything in a project. So your part, what you have done, you should just be aware of that and be able to explain, rather than putting a history in your CV. And I notice that quite a bit these days, that you have mentioned quite a few things, and when we start probing, we realize that there is only the first line that has been done. The rest all is just been added. So that I place very, very high importance to be very honest and integrity, on your resume.
So regarding the skill set of the fresher students, so one thing is, usually when we see any openings for the student members, employers usually expect the member should be experienced. So the point is, it is like whether the egg came first or the chicken came first. So whether the experienced students' requirement should be there or the fresher students' requirement will be there. So in a way, there is a requirement for both. And when we go to the fresher students and when we interview them, their expectation may be very high in terms of what I will work. See, they don't first want to see the picture of the actuaries, what they do. So actuary student, they should be aware of what actuaries are doing. So in this direction, Actuaries Institute is currently doing a very good job. They are undertaking various different training programs. So students can take this opportunity to understand what actuaries do, so they can learn these skills and utilize the skills in their interview. So they will get the better opportunities to get pass. And secondly, whenever they work as a employee or any team member, they should be enthusiastic to learn more rather than just focusing on the package, because I have seen in many students, they want to switch the career in between while learning the subjects. Because one thing was my goal in my time, that as a student member, we should be focusing on two aspects. One is learning the subjects, second is passing the exams. Because if we excel in these two aspects, then money will automatically flow in the future period. It is a total sum game. We need to see the long-term benefits versus the short-term benefits. So this is one my tip to the members, that we should not just see the short-term benefits and play with our long-term goals. Yeah.
For students especially, see that actuarial profession has come a long way. All our services are now getting delivered on technology. There are two aspects in profession: preparation of report and signing of report. That entire profession is about that signing of report and how it actually has to be maintained, entire governance control process. But preparation of report takes a larger amount of resource requirement. And that preparation is on technology. We need to, as a starting point, I have recruited hundreds of freshers in the last 20 years. Many times when I do that, student asks me, sir, nobody told me to learn technology. My reply is very simple. Nobody had told me even to buy this mobile. Nobody had told me to learn driving. Because driving and mobile has become integrated part of my life, this is integrated part of my profession. On a very lighter note, data science and actuarial science, these are the siblings which were lost some time back in the Kumbh Mela. Now as an elder brother, as an actuarial science, we need to rediscover and bring back the data science to our life. So we need to learn data techniques, whether they actually, even if it goes and learning SQL and writing a code, or learning Python and R, or going and learning visualization, and so on and so forth. So this actually needs to be, and good news is that it is already part of our syllabus. We need to really make hands-on. So that is one thing. Other thing is that as a part of our learning, we also need to learn the products, because ultimately whatever valuation which we are doing, whether in insurance, banking, investment, energy, wider fields, etc., I must learn about product. So when we are actually talking about and facing interviews, etc., I should be doubly sure of the product which this company is dealing with. That will only widen up actually the horizon, that will only widen up the opportunities for me. So two things: learn technology, not learn, get skilled on the technology. That is the differentiating factor. At Institute, we have been doing that. Our complete focus is there, that get skilled on the technology. And other is learn about the product attributes, learn about the product cash flows, so that we actually can do the justification to our employer for what we were actually recruited. One more thing is that going beyond the, you can call employment, there are tremendous opportunities outside. Because what we need to do, we need to push the envelope. We need to get into entrepreneurship. We need to get into practices in the new areas. We need to take our skills, learning to other industry. Then only our profession will actually expand, and it will open up the opportunity for others also, including us.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for your answers. Now I would like to open the floor for a couple of questions from the attendees.
Good evening, Madam and Sir. My question is to you, Madam. You mentioned about predict modeling and how actuaries are being recruited in Uber for data analysis. So my question is, if actuaries can do something that data scientists can do, then why would one choose to go to the actuarial field? Because I'm also learning about people switching into the data science profession, and also the am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the reasons being the monetary aspect, and also if we are learning completely.
Sure, sure. So like Sir just very nicely said that they are like the two siblings lost in the Kumbh Mela. What my personal opinion is, data scientists, all actuaries can become data scientists, but all data scientists can't become actuaries, because we have another special skills test in terms of looking at, you can look at the other areas of valuing liabilities, for example, which is something that currently the data science doesn't sort of train you into. So these are newer areas. What I was mentioning was that that actuaries could also look at, while traditional areas will continue, of course, and continue to be there forever.
We keep talking about AI, machine learning, etc. We are also talking about data science. No, data science is not something which has come in last 2-3 years. These are the same data analytics, data management techniques. What is the difference? The difference is the domain knowledge. When I understand my products and business better and use technology for that, then it is called data science, or then it will be called actuarial science. So, as Madam said, that actuarial science can become a good data scientist, but data scientists cannot become good actuarial science. The reason is we are learning use of technology for a particular domain within the professional framework. That is the difference. All practices, actuarial techniques are there, actuarial standards are there. This is the way to build model. This is the way to validate it. These are the data we require. This is the period for which I required. This is the way to measure the all risk measures, factors, indicators, etc. This is what regulators are expecting us. This is not taught in data science. This is only taught in profession like actuarial science. So that is the biggest difference. When I was talking about 2047 and look and beyond, what does it mean is basically build that domain, build those techniques, build those standards for various businesses, for various products, for various requirements in the business, so that we actually are marked actually as a professionals in those areas. That is the difference. Otherwise, data science, SQL, and Excel, etc., that is not creating the value either even for the employer nor for us. Only when I combine it with the professional setup, with the professional control, governance, and entire framework, then only it creates the value. I don't know whether we were able to explain.
Any other questions? In that case, I'll ask everyone to ask during the networking sessions, they can ask the panelists their questions in person. Moving on to the next section. Thank you. When I was in 10th grade, my tuition teacher told me, you have an option. You can either be the jack of all trades or you can be a master of one. I took the middle route and became, trying to become an actuary, I became the master of many trades. Such is the actuarial profession. The actuarial profession itself is a multidisciplinary profession encompassing principles, as President mentioned, from mathematics, statistics, finance, economics, data science, and sometimes physics as well. To felicitate and commemorate this multidisciplinary spirit that we actuaries have, we have organized a small quiz for you all. For this quiz, we are going the old school way. I'll ask a question, you raise your hand. If you get the correct answer, we have prizes for everyone. I would request all the student, associate, and fellow members to participate. Before we go on, I'll ask a few warm-up questions. I think Rashi. So, let's say you were in a race. You just passed the person who was in second place. Where are you right now? Yeah, that's it. Grandpa went out for a walk and it started to rain. He did not bring an umbrella nor did he wear his hat. His clothes got soaked, but not a hair on his head was wet. How is that actually possible? Please raise your hands. I'll bring a mic to you. I think the first person was behind Karthike. I'll just go on to that person.
He was bald, maybe?
Yes, that's correct. Next up, I'll give a series of letters and I expect each and every smart individual in this room to know the next three letters in the series. So the series goes as such: OTT, FF, SS. What are the next three letters in this series? I'll repeat: OTT, FF, SS. What are the next three letters in the series? That's correct. Paresh. Yeah. I'll explain the answer to this one for those of you who did not get it. The alphabets in the series were actually the first letters of the beloved numbers we as actually claim to love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next three numbers in the series, 8, 9 and 10. Coming on to things that we should know about, and sometimes we don't as student members. What was the year in which the actuarial profession was formally established in India? The ones in the back seem to be slightly 1944, the year in which the Actuarial Society of India was established. Coming on to the actual questions based on the actuarial knowledge that we have gained from the exams. A type of liability where there is a time lag between the occurrence of the event and the manifestation of the injury, seen especially in employer liability type of insurances. I'll repeat the question: a type of liability or a claim where there is a time lag between the occurrence of the event and the manifestation of the injury, especially seen in employer liability types of coverages. I'll ask everyone to answer into the mic so that every one of us can know that.
Latent claims?
Yes, that's correct. The most famous example for the same would be the asbestos infections or asbestos claims that were prevalent in the late 90s in the global market. Now, this is one of the few words that always had been daunting to me when I first heard it. Name the word having which describes having a random distribution or a pattern that may be analyzed statistically but may never be predicted precisely. Having a random distribution or pattern that may be analyzed statistically but may not be predicted precisely. I think we'll give it to the one in the back.
Random walk?
It's random walk is a type of that word that we are looking
process?
for. Huh?
Stochastic process?
I think that's correct. That is correct, but it was a second try. Yes, Karthikeya. So yeah, equity share prices and random walks both are examples of a stochastic process. The word that we were looking for was stochastic processes.
Is it a Brownian motion?
Again, sir,
Okay.
all three examples of the word stochastic, examples of stochastic processes in and of itself. So, by parts, all three of you are correct. Together, you make the answer correct. This is one for the life actuaries in the audience. A percentage that signifies the number of clients that an insurance company has retained for an insurance product. Again, the one behind Karthikeya. Paresh. Huh?
Persistency?
Huh?
Persistency? Persistency?
Yeah, that's correct. I think please. Dash refers to an act of negligence or incompetence committed by a professional, usually less seen in the actuarial domain. No. That would be a malpractice. The correct answer is malpractice. A fairly common coverage under liability insurance is dash is an addition to an insurance policy that overrides whatever the original policy document says, and that would be the person in the blue.
Rider?
No.
Even my answer was the same, rider.
Okay. Okay. We'll take a student member for this one.
Endorsement?
Okay. Was that supposed? No. Endorsement is the correct answer. Dash is an out-of-pocket fee that an insured needs to pay as a part of their insurance coverage, something policyholders usually complain about. Padmaja ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Again, the answer was deductible. I'll ask this one, it's not on the slides, I'll ask this one out of my own volition. If expectation of X and Y is equal to the expectation of X into the expectation of Y, are the two random variables X and Y independent? Yes? The correct answer is no. Actually, if the covariance of X and Y is 0, they are uncorrelated but not necessarily independent. This is a very, I think this is a very famous question always asked in CT3 and CS1 examinations, and some place where we student members are never correct. This is the one for pensions actuaries in the crowd. An increase made to pensions to counteract the effects of rising prices in the economy is called dash inflation.
That's cost pull inflation.
Could you come again?
Cost pull in inflation.
Not exactly the words we're looking for. Kartike. No, not the words that we are looking for. Yes, once again, Kartike. The exact words that we were looking for is the cost of living adjustment inflation. Sometimes it's used in salaries as well. With inflation on the rise, I presume many salaries to be adjusted like this. Uh, that's a nice tidbit of information. The word COLA, cola, is used in the Sri Lankan market. Uh, Processes and structures implemented to communicate, manage, and monitor organizational activities is also called as DASH. I'll repeat the question. Processes, structures implemented to communicate, manage, and monitor organizational activities. Yes.
Audit?
No, not the word we are looking for.
SOP?
Quite near, but not exactly the words that we are looking for.
Accountability?
This document does bring about that, this principle.
Management information systems?
No. Yes, Subha ma'am. Orsa. I have to ask. I do not know the full form to the same.
Controls?
Could you come again?
Controls?
No, the word that we were looking for is governance. Corporate governance has recently been in quite some news with actuaries being part of corporate governance frameworks throughout the insurance domain. Operational risks, self-assessment. Okay. The next question is based again on statistics and a part of mathematics. A statistical measure which measures both the strength and the direction of the linear relationship between the two variables. It's an error. It's supposed to read linear relationship between the two variables.
Correlation?
Correct. Yes. Again, this question is not on the slides, so please don't change the slide. Which statistical distribution has equal mean and standard deviation every time? Yes. Huh? Sorry, sir, that's wrong. Can we get a mic here?
Exponential.
So the mean and the variance of the Poisson distribution are equal, not the standard deviation. Is the exponential distribution that exhibits the property of having the equal mean and standard deviation. If you have a data set with n observations and mean m, what will be the new mean if you were to add 5 to each of the data points? Pink. You were the first one to raise your hand.
It's m plus 5.
Yes, correct. individual's personality characteristics that increase a probability of loss under an insurance contract.
Moral hazard?
Yeah, that's correct. Next one is something that has been developing in the nation as well as on a global scale in the last few years. An event-based insurance or an index-based insurance is mostly used to cover natural disasters because events are objective to both the insured and the insurer, eliminating the moral hazard that often prevents the coverage of certain types of losses. Which type of insurance would ideally cover losses of these types? I'll repeat. Shubha ma'am.
Catastrophic cover?
Again, I'll give a clarification on the question. An event-based insurance or an index-based insurance is mostly used to cover natural disaster. The insurance has to be index-based, and what would be the specific name that we would call? A cat insurance could be not based on an index.
Accidental rider or something?
No. This would be a generic term.
Crop insurance?
This is the place where it's used the most. This type of insurance would not be a very specific line of business. This is the generic name that we would ideally call an insurance of that type.
It's a weather insurance or weather bonds?
No. Again, both crop and weather are actually the lines of businesses where this is used. The word that we were looking for is parametric insurances. Both Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and WCIS are parametric insurance contracts. You can read more about them on the Digital Actuary magazine. An article has already been published on the same. The right that a beneficiary has to exchange one type of income for another. Again, this is an insurance terminology, not necessarily an actuarial terminology. The right that a beneficiary has to exchange one type of income for another. Could we get a mic to him?
A swap?
No. Swaps you won't really have a right. It's a compulsion at times. Here it is a right that an insured would ideally have to exchange one type of payment for the another. Karthike.
Surrender of policy.
Could you come again?
Surrender of policy, because in that the insurer has to compulsorily give the fixed amount given in the letter.
Again, I am not a life actuary, but this transaction, again, we are looking for a generic term. We are not looking at very specific terms.
Annuity.
The payment does get converted to annuity post that, Padmaja ma'am. No. The word that we were looking for is commutation. Something that life insurance contracts usually have an option for the heir to get a payment in form of an annuity or a lump sum at the end of the contract. We'll be moving on to questions from economics. So let's brush up on our knowledge there. What is the phenomenon of slowing or no economic growth coupled with high inflation called? Yeah.
Stagflation.
Yeah, you're correct. Looking for the last correct answer to the question, something famous in Japan, done quite often by the Bank of Japan. Which type of monetary policy involves central bank purchasing predetermined amounts of government bonds or other financial assets from the open market in order to inject the money into the economy to expand economic activity?
Quantitative easing?
Yes, that's correct. I would like to thank each and every one of you for participating, and congratulations to all the winners. Every year on the occasion of Actuaries Day, the Institute of Actuary felicitates the senior members of our community. This year, our senior member, Mr. Dilip Chakrabarti, was felicitated by the President. I would request the team to play the video message.
Every year on the occasion of Actuaries Day celebration, we felicitate actuaries who has completed 75 years of age. It is a coincidence that only one actuary has celebrated 75th birthday during this year when India is celebrating its 75 years of independence. And this actuary is none other than Sri Dilip Charan Chakraborty, our Dilipda. Dilipda is a fellow member of Institute of Actuaries of India, Institute and Faculty of Actuaries of UK, and Insurance Institute of India. He has decades of experience across all companies as well as geographies including UK. He has more than 3 decades experience in LIC of India and held several senior management positions with Canada Life UK. He also worked with Tower Watson as senior advisor. He was closely associated with the liberalization process of insurance industry in India since the formation of Malhotra Committee. He was elected and served in the Executive Committee of Actuarial Society of India and the Council of Institute of Actuaries of India. On behalf of the actuarial community, we felicitate Dilipda by thankfully acknowledging his contribution to the profession and insurance industry. Due to health reasons, Dilipda is not able to attend this function in person. We wish him a speedy recovery and good health. Dilipda has sent his message to the actuarial community. Now we are playing his message along with the messages from some of the members about their association with Dilipda.
Dear friends, when I look back, I begin at the beginning. A premature boy was born at a small town in East Bengal. 7 days before partition of India, and after a few years, the family became refugee and came to Calcutta. A very hard life followed, but we survived because of education all of us had. The urge for security became urge for knowledge and lifelong learning. This is my first piece of advice, particularly to students from poorer background. I joined Life Insurance Corporation of India as a direct recruit officer in 1969. After 13 years, I started writing actuarial examinations in 1981. There was no incentive whatsoever for me. On the other hand, I spent a lot of my meager salary for buying books and course materials from Institute of Actuaries UK. Why did I do so? Urge for security apart, the intellectual challenge of the most difficult professional exams and its prestige, not only in LIC but in the wider world in and outside India as well. One important moment of my life was when I got bursary in 1984 from the Worshipful Company of Actuaries, London, for my performance in the actuarial examinations. Our predecessors built the reputation and prestige of the profession by their hard work, problem-solving abilities, integrity, highest ethical and professional standards, and the sterling contribution to insurance industry before and after nationalization. I had the opportunity to meet and or to greet stalwarts like G.S. Diwan, K. Pandit, R.M. Mehta, J.T. Ranadive, M.C. Chakravarti. Later on, I had the opportunity to work under the guidance of M.G. Diwan, D. Basu, A.S. Gupta, K.P. Narasimhan and R. Ramakrishnan. All of us, all of them were role models in our generation of actuaries. They set high standards for us. Service before self, community before individual, good behavior, collegiate culture, free and fearless exchanges of idea without hostilities. At age 75, I like to believe that I tried my best to live up to those standards. To senior members of next generation, my request will be to carry on with the same tradition. Parampara is our civilization's culture. The value, the actuarial education, the actuarial profession gave me unimagined financial rewards apart from status and intellectual satisfaction till age 75. Due to indifferent health and other personal reasons, I have now decided to retire from paid works from 1st October 2022, 53 years after my entry to the insurance world. I and family are grateful to LIC and actuarial profession for the quality of life we had in and outside India. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
I feel myself very proud to be invited to speak a few words about Mr. Dilip Chakrabarti, or Dilipda as I call him. He is a brilliant actuary and a very, very accomplished leader. He was actively involved in the initial days of formation of IRDA and advised the regulator at that time. He is actively involved in the activities of the profession and was a council member for many years. He was one of the few brains involved during the formation of very first Global Conference of Actuaries, or GCA. I wish he continues to be associated with us and continue to advise the profession for many more years to come. Thank you.
Greetings, Dilipda, and special greetings on your 75th birthday. You share your birth year with the year when India became independent, and that in itself is really special. I have known you for about 25 plus years and actually known about you for over 30 years, including the very, very inspiring stories about how you breezed through some of your difficult exams while you were qualifying. I was actually in awe and, to be honest, a bit overwhelmed when I first met you in LIC central office many years back. But your friendly nature really put me at ease immediately. I have learned a lot from you when I was working with you in your team in LIC. One thing that stands out amongst all the experiences I have is your constant encouragement and sometimes insistence for people to actually step out of their comfort zone and lean into challenging opportunities and challenges. Thank you for all your support and encouragement, Dilipda, and I wish you a very good health and happiness. Wishing you a very happy platinum birthday once again.
A celebration is incomplete without a cake cutting ceremony. Now I would like to invite our president Shubhendu Bal to mark the celebration with the cutting of a cake.
I think I want to invite 5 of the random members from here to cut the cake along with me, rather than always we do by the president or by the other dignitaries. This time I want to make a little change. I hope all of you will be agree with me. The 5 persons I want to call, who are the, without saying the age, without stating the age, the youngest over in this room. So I do not know who are they, but I personally will be happy to call those 5 members to cutting the cake over here. Harsha Muchalla, I think 40105 is the 40105 is the membership ID. Can come on stage. Who is there? Can come over. Very good. Second is Kunal Tekwani, 40227. Okay, I think he has just left early because of some other commitment. So the third one is Anushka Bhatt, 38978. Yeah, please come. Fourth one is Palak Rathi, 40084. And next one is Khushi Dubey, 40617. I hope all of you will be happy to have cake cutting by these people. Yeah, please.
I hope each and every one of us has enjoyed the celebrations of the 5th Actuaries Day. Today has been enlightening for me and all of us, learning about the responsibility of the future actuaries in the development of this nation and what a bright future do we have for us ahead. When it comes to interesting actuaries in the actuarial domain, one thing that stands out to me is what happened during the nationalization in 1956. So today is the 159th birth anniversary of L.S. Vaidyanathan ji. When the insurance companies were nationalized in 1956, the government decided that each company would now be headed by a custodian selected from a different insurance company. The only company that was exempted from this was Oriental Life Assurance Company, where Sri L.S. Vaidyanathan, who was the first fellow actuary of India, continued to remain the custodian of the company. This shows the government entrusts actuaries with the final responsibility of upholding policyholder interests and various other stakeholders' interests in the insurance and the pensions domain. I would again like to congratulate all the members of the institute and the staff of the institute on launch of the new Actuary India website, the Digital Actuary India magazine, and Olympiad of Actuarial Science for Indian students. I would like to thank our president, Mr. Shubhendu Bal, chief guest Sri Raj Kumar, Khushwant Pava, who was the chair of the Actuaries Day Celebration Task Force, the administrative members of the IAI, all the fellow associate and the student members who showed up in large numbers and participated today, the hotel staff for making this a lovely request all the student members to come to the front and take photos with President Shubhendu and all the other members to proceed for high tea. Thank you for attending. Hope you had a great Actuaries Day. Thank you.